Tonight, mask mandates for several airlines and rideshare apps have been lifted. A passenger shares her concerns.
A new exhibit on campus features artists beyond our borders. We'll take a look at their work.
Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen visits Annenberg. Find out what she says is critical for making tech work better.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Passengers no longer have to wear a mask while flying or taking an Uber or Lyft. Good evening, I'm Tatum Larsen.
And I'm Jacob Wheeler. The decision came after a Florida judge struck down the government's mask mandate for all public transportation yesterday. The judge ruled that the CDC order was, quote, unlawful. The White House called the decision disappointing, but the ruling was welcomed by the nation's major airlines, including Delta, United, and American. One traveler on board a Southwest flight described the scene in the cabin when the news broke.
There were a couple people on the plane who took them off, and the flight attendants were super happy, smiling. It was pretty like half and half. I mean, there were some people who were pretty excited about it. Some people couldn't care less. I'm pretty confident. I haven't gotten COVID. But I travel pretty frequently, going home from school. And I think personally, I might probably still wear my mask.
The CDC still recommends people mask up when riding public transportation. A Keck School epidemiologist echoed that guidance, saying vulnerable passengers should exercise caution in certain settings.
People who are particularly vulnerable, so those who are immunocompromised, they're still susceptible to serious consequences from infection. So from a medical perspective, it would make sense for those individuals to continue wearing masks when they're in indoor settings.
Late this afternoon, LA County Metro announced masks are no longer required on their bus and train lines, but the agency says masks are still strongly recommended.
Instability in parts of Africa continues to drive migration towards the Mediterranean Sea. Global City reporter Draco Guan takes a look at the perilous journey still happening near North Africa.
The United Nations says at least 35 people are presumed dead or missing after a boat capsized off the Libyan coast. The UN reports at least 53 people died during a similar tragedy last week. This most recent incident happened on Friday near the western city of the Sabratha. The city has become a major transit point for people attempting to cross the Mediterranean into Europe. The political strife in Libya has contributed to human trafficking and smuggling crisis in the country. The UN has repeatedly warned migrants and asylum seekers in Libya that they run the risk of arrest, extortion, torture, and sexual abuse. A USC expert in human rights says the crisis warrants a greater attention from the international community.
The international and domestic frameworks that support each country and each region's refugee policies need restructuring, need revisiting, because otherwise things like we're seeing that unfolded just now off the coast of Libya will only continue to occur. With cultural shifts, those kind of more structural issues just become easier to solve because there's political will and political momentum once the greater population is behind them.
Obviously, much of the discussion around refugees has focused on the war in Ukraine. But Professor says the situation in North Africa should remind everybody about crises that are happening in other parts of the world.
One of the most controversial immigration policies is about to come to an end. Reporter Chrissa went to Tijuana to investigate and brought back this story.
The Biden administration is reversing a Trump-era policy introduced during the pandemic. The policy used COVID to prevent hundreds of thousands of migrants from crossing the border, even those who were running for their lives.
Tijuana is a fun place to visit, unless you are an asylum seeker running away from violence.
I fear the worst, which is that they can kidnap my family, they can kidnap me.
We will call him Miguel. We cannot show his face because traffickers in Guatemala have threatened to kill the former drug enforcement officer.
They started calling me on my phone saying that they were going to kill me, that they were going to kidnap me, that they knew where I lived.
Miguel and his family ran away seeking asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border.
This barrier behind me between San Diego and Tijuana is one of the obstacles for people who are running away from violence. Immigration advocates say there are legal procedures that place asylum seekers in harm's way.
If someone crosses, they might be expelled back to Mexico or their home country under Title 42. It's a violation of human rights. It's a violation of U.S. asylum law, of international law.
Title 42 is a 1940s health statute. The Trump administration used it during COVID to prevent migrants from seeking asylum.
The U.S. has helped lots of asylum seekers. At the same time, the U.S., the implementation of our asylum laws have been discriminatory.
According to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Title 42 was used to expel more than 1 million migrants last year.
I feel like they can figure out where I am. It's not our country. I mean, we don't know where to run, where to hide.
For now, life for Miguel and his family means hiding a breath away from safety. For Annenberg Media, Chrissa.
The Biden administration plans to end this policy on May 23rd. Republicans and even some Democrats are concerned this change in policy will invite a flood of migrants trying to cross the border. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Chrissa. Artisans Beyond Borders is a new exhibit open now at the University Religious Center. It highlights the stories of migrants and asylum seekers who traveled to the U.S.-Mexico border from 2019 to 2021. The exhibition features bordados devocionales, or devotional embroideries, stitched by asylum seekers. Each bordado reflects the personal experiences of migration. The exhibition describes the devotional art as an intimate testimony of faith.
You can see so much in the cloth. You can see the intensity of the feelings that this bordadora, this embroiderer, had as she was creating this piece. If you look closely at it, you can see the way the cloth has been stretched from the intensity, frankly, the anxiety that she was feeling.
The exhibit runs until April 30th at the University Religious Center Fishbowl. It's open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays.
Home care providers and their supporters rallied at the LA County Board of Supervisors office this morning. They're calling for in-home care providers to earn a $20 an hour living wage.
How much are you guys want? How much?
They're calling it the Time for 20 campaign. These home care workers say they struggle to afford everyday necessities and support their families. According to the union that organized the rally, more than 30% of in-home supportive services providers in California are forced to work several jobs.
We're rallying out here today to send a clear message to the Board of Supervisors that it's time for accessible health care for IHSS workers, that it's time for a living wage for IHSS workers. Most of them work 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet, so we're asking for $20 as the floor.
We need $20 an hour. Right now we're at $16 an hour, and we work way more than the hours that they give us.
The government needs to give us this money. Give us our 20, give us our 25, give us our 30.
Members of the union have rallied in front of government offices all across the state to call for change. They say their demands come at a time when the number of Americans needing their care is greater than ever.
The class of 2022 may be ready to graduate, but there's still one more hurdle before these Trojans can get their degree. Students speak up about the financial hardship that comes with having to buy or rent regalia for the ceremony.
I am very low income. I provide for myself. I also provide for my family back home. I'm working 2 jobs just to be able to support myself. I honestly don't have money right now to even buy the robes. I think they should at least provide those who want to rent it for free.
Students are turning away from the bookstore and towards local shops to help keep the cost down.
The bookstore does charge a lot more. We have more flexibility with the way we can do placements for the graduation sash embroidery and whatnot. So that's the biggest difference between us and the bookstore.
Students planning to participate in the commencement ceremony can expect to pay at least $1,000 to purchase a class ring, graduation apparel, announcements, and a sash. These are the lowest prices we found for each item. Students are only required to get a cap and gown, which can be cheaper if rented. Graduation will take place on May 13th, and for these Trojans, hopefully the tassel was worth the hassle. USC's Landscape Justice Initiative has launched a new project. Stay tuned for how you can get involved.
And Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen was at Annenberg today. Stay tuned for her thoughts on how we can hold tech companies accountable.
We're here live at the Pan-African Film Festival red carpet where Hollywood's finest are in attendance. So stay tuned for all the coverage.
Worried your friend's struggling but don't know how to reach out?
You could say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could write them a text or knit them a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write them a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckle tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways to be a whistleblower. Like, you do not have to be a public figure. Like, I chose to come out because my lawyers were very clear that, like, the story was large enough that they would just keep hunting till they found me. Unless we have diverse voices sitting at the table, looking at the consequences of these algorithms, asking questions, being like, could there be a side effect happening? Often all kinds of interesting, unintended side effects happen.
Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen was the headliner at today's Making Tech Work Better event at Annenberg. Haugen spoke about the importance of holding big tech accountable and the role of emerging journalists in the fight against misinformation. Dean Willow Bay echoed that as a priority.
For us to be able to sit in a room and hear from her directly
And to be able to have our students ask questions of her directly is, I think, just a remarkable opportunity.
As a communications student, I feel like we're taught a lot about the power of rhetoric and how to utilize it, but I feel like here we were taught what things specifically to focus on so that we know what exactly our rhetoric should be targeted towards and what kind of change that can produce.
Journalism and investigative reporting are critical to a healthy democracy. I hope this was a very motivating talk for young people because there are so many different ways that they can make a difference.
In addition to speaking about misinformation in the digital age, Hagen spoke about the importance of paying it forward by becoming a teacher and guardian for the next generation of digital users.
USC's Landscape Justice Initiative called Test Plot had a volunteer event at Watt Hall today aimed at ecological restoration in the LA community. Students involved in Test Plot are passionate about the environmental impact their work has already had and are optimistic about the future of the organization. They encourage student interest and emphasize that anyone looking to get involved can and should do so.
Test Plot gives people a chance to actually get their hands in the dirt at their local park and be involved with kind of how it's shaped and what it will be for the future.
In our cities, the environment is so extreme. There's urban heat island effect. There's a lot of pollution. I think opportunities for community members to get involved and take action and start caring for the commons are really important.
USC plans on hosting over 30 events highlighting the environment during Earth Week. You can check out the full lineup on sustainability.usc.edu.
Tonight, the 30th annual Pan-African Film and Arts Festival kicks off in Los Angeles. It's one of the largest and most prestigious Black film festivals in the U.S. Reporter Lupe Llerenas is live at the festival with an inside look. Lupe?
That's right. People are just starting to roll in right here behind me on the red carpet of the Pan-African Film Festival, which is about to kick off with host Danny Glover. Now, for the next 13 days, the people will be able to see more than 200 films from 55 different countries in 18 different languages. And tonight is the premiere of Remember Me, the Mahalia Jackson story, starring Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter Ledisi. And this Sunday, the Pan-African Film Festival will also be collaborating with USC's Vision and Voices for a student panel and discussion of the screening short film, The Legacy Project. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Bricks are the color of blood and very small. Is it a black hand? Or is it a shadow?
The panel discussion at USC will feature 5 films with television actors, producers, directors, and writers, all alumni from USC. As for the Pan Film Festival, the last day is on May 1st, and tickets are available online. That's all from me here for Annenberg Media. I'm Lupe Llerenas. Back to you in the studio.
And as you can see here, the weather is just beautiful, and we're looking forward to some possible spring showers. Erica, what can you tell us about the weather today?
I'll tell you all about it right now. Well, good evening, people. I'm Eric Choi. As you saw in that live camera shot there was some people getting ready for that LA Times Book Festival. Today's weather forecast, blue skies. Temperatures were in the low 70s for the LA metro area this afternoon. The current conditions are 66 degrees and 58% humidity. Let's go to our regional map. So we're anticipating some gusty winds to pick up, especially for Ventura County and the high deserts tomorrow. Also, a cool down is heading our way, so you can expect these temperatures to be knocking down a few more degrees because of the increasing sea breeze and the marine influence tomorrow. So the highs are going to be 67 in USC and downtown LA and 69 in Pomona and Anaheim. 5-day forecast. Once again, with the high pressure system leaving the area and low pressure dropping in, our temperatures will slowly but surely begin to cool down as we head into the next few days. We could see some rain as early as late Thursday into Friday as a late season Pacific storm makes its way into our area from the Gulf of Alaska. The chance of showers is 40% on Thursday, and we'll be warming up and drying out into the 70s and 80s as we head into this upcoming weekend. Time now for Trending Tuesday, where we cover the latest hot topics and news stories getting attention on social platforms. Kendrick Lamar announced his long-awaited new album is finally coming next month.
Yeah. Hey, I remember
the rapper's new album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, will be released on May 13th. This will be Lamar's 5th album and final one for Top Dog Entertainment, the label he's been with for his entire recording career. The Grammy Award winner's new album comes 5 years since the release since 2017's Damn, which went triple platinum and was the first rap battle to win a Pulitzer Prize. Lamar's announcement was vague. He initially delivered the news by responding to a tweet reading, "Kendrick Lamar is officially retired," with a link to his website. Well, after a long Lamar drought, the rapper's loyal fans and peers sure are already freaking out about the news. All right, time now to toss it over to sports.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. I know I'm excited for Kendrick Lamar's new album, and the NBA playoffs are underway. We'll give you our hot takes for how things may shake up. USC baseball is looking to bounce back tonight after a disappointing weekend in Tempe. And Lincoln Riley reeled in yet another top football recruit. We'll tell you who after the break.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Happy Tuesday and welcome to ATVN Sports. I'm Noah Camras.
And I'm Hayes Flanagan. USC baseball got swept for the second straight weekend. The Trojans headed to Tempe, where they fell to Arizona State. They are now 4-11 in conference play. Despite losing all 3 games, the Trojans weren't without their bright spots. Tyler Lozano tied a USC record with 3 home runs in a game, becoming the first since Ricky Oropeza to accomplish the feat. And Tyrese Turner also had a big weekend as he bat 7 for 12 and hit a home run of his own. The Trojans will try to get back in the win column as they travel to play Cal State Fullerton today at 6.
It's been another eventful week for USC football as head coach Lincoln Riley welcomed in a new top 23 recruit. 4-star running back Quinton Joyner announced his commitment to the Trojans this morning for the 2023 season. He joins a recruiting class that is now one of the best in the country with 3 5-star recruits. And while the future is looking bright for USC football, the present is looking pretty good too. This Saturday, the Trojans will be playing against the Trojans in their spring football game. It will be the only nationally televised spring game and can be seen at noon on ESPN. Coach Riley's making sure his team is taking this game as seriously as any other.
But I can tell you this, it's not going to be a game of tag. No, we're going to play football. So like we have every single day. So it'll be fun. We're going to try to keep it pretty fast paced. We'll play a half of football.
The NBA playoffs are underway. Every series has played at least one game, and there are a lot of storylines everywhere. Hayes and I each have a quick hot take about something that's already happened or something to happen. So Hayes, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, so my hot take this week is the Bulls got robbed of their win in Game 1. You know, Giannis, the star of the Bucks, had 5 fouls. He's a man of the television, and I think the refs miscalled a lot of
calls, and so they didn't give Giannis his 6, and so the Bulls walked away with a loss.
All right, I do like that take, some good reporting. I'm going to take us to the NBA Finals. I have the Brooklyn Nets winning the NBA Finals. It'll be one of the toughest paths to go through the Celtics, the Bucks, and the 76ers, but I just think they're expected to get Ben Simmons back, which would help them on defense, and I just think a team with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, 2 of the best scorers, should dominate. And of course, like I said, defensively with Andre Drummond and Ben Simmons, they'll be able to match up with people like Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo. So yeah, I have the Nets winning. I know you have a different team winning it all.
Yeah, no, that is a hot take indeed. I got the Golden State Warriors. I mean, they are a triple threat right now with Poole, Thompson, and Curry, and I just don't see how they can lose. Watching them last night was super exciting.
If it means anything, I have the Warriors in the finals, just losing to the Nets. So
yeah,
we're kind of similar, but yeah, I do have the Nets.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, that's it for sports. In LA Times Book Festival has arrived on campus. We will speak live with the founder.
Lávate las manos por 20 segundos como Elmo.
Hay algo especial acerca de este lugar. Se siente como un hogar, una sala debajo del cielo y los árboles. Rodeado de aire fresco y la naturaleza. Todo aquí para que lo disfrutemos y para que lo cuidemos. Tenemos la responsabilidad de cuidar de esta tierra que llamamos casa, de preservarla para las generaciones que vienen. Cada acción pequeña contribuye para un cambio mayor y cada uno de nosotros podemos hacer la diferencia. Hay algo especial acerca de este bosque. Es un lugar donde se hacen recuerdos y juntos podemos preservarla y protegerla.
No, the circus has not come to town. Those tents all over campus are for this weekend's LA Times Festival of Books. It is the largest literary event in the country, attracting around 150,000 visitors each year. Attendees can expect one-on-one conversations, panels, readings by authors, music performances, over 550 authors, poets, artists, chefs, celebrities, and musicians are on the lineup. Wow, so much to look forward to. And joining us live in studio is a co-founder of the Los Angeles Times Festival of Books, Narda Zakino. Narda, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's so great to have you here, and we're curious, when you first founded this festival in 1996, did you think it would grow this large?
I had no idea. The first festival, I think we had like 25,000 people. I was expecting 10, and so it has grown enormously. I think keeping it free to the public was very important. There was the second season, some of the people at the newspaper wanted to charge. They said we could make a lot of money on this, and we said no. We kept it, we ran it. Yeah.
And what are you looking forward to most at this year's event?
You know, my favorite thing at every festival is the kids area, the children's area. I used to, the first time I went, the first festival, when I saw all these kids, it was at UCLA then, and all these kids were on this kind of little grassy area. We'd made a special space for the kids. And, you know, youth authors and youth book authors and stuff. And I just sat there and I watched these kids reading books, ignoring everything else going on around them, and there were a couple hundred kids on the grass just reading books. I just now get little chills just thinking about it. That's my favorite thing at the festival, and the music, and yeah.
That sounds wonderful. Yeah. And what are your hopes for the future of the festival?
Well, I would hope, I'm not associated with it anymore because I retired from the LA Times. I'm hoping and assuming it will go on for forever, as long as people continue to read and as long as the Times is willing to put the money into it, and you know, and I think they are. It's really a great community service and a great community event.
That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's thrilling, actually. Yeah.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
And how do you view the festival now that you're not directly in it, but you know that your legacy continues on?
First of all, I have to say that I co-founded it with my colleague at the LA Times. Her name is Lisa Clary Reale. She's also retired now. And the two of us did it together in 4 months with a team of 6 people at the paper. So I my wish is that it goes on forever, even though I'm not involved in it, although they're always very kind to me, VIP passes and stuff like that.
well,
Absolutely.
that's wonderful.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. To learn more about the festival and the lineup and to reserve a ticket for panels, make sure to go to events.latimes.com/festival of books. The outdoor event is free and open to all. However, indoor events require tickets. Tickets will also be sold on site. Thanks so much for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone here at Annenberg Media, I'm Jacob Wheeler.
And I'm Tatum Larsen. For more coverage, watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Annenberg Media. Good night.